Yagoy olep kumi ruwainin ngan yinin.
Yagoy.
My name is Sylvia McDaniel. I am the Director of Communications for Salem-Keizer.
Dain Sylvia McDaniel ngay director ngan communication ngan chukulugan narilo chukulugan kian.
I am joined here with Melissa Glover. She is the Executive Director of Student Services. Did I get that right, Melissa?
Director of Student Services, yes.
Oh, I said it's executive. Well,
Take it.
okay.
Imagine ever Melissa Glover, director ngan student services.
I'm also here with Jacqueline Benavides. She's our Community Engagement Specialist.
Perijin ever Jacqueline Benavides, communication specialist.
And Jordan Hagedorn, she is with Communications. She is our producer tonight, among other things.
Jordan Hagedorn, per Junian promoter, imeo jagan kecigi, adan kamar koi lagi chodini.
Tonight, we have an opportunity to talk a little bit about hybrid learning.
Chodini kajani kananagan hybrid learning ang wawin chukule me karera kopan.
Answer any questions or concerns you have about coming back in person.
Imchene juwaga chat kachita ko ikichen wawan neighbor rodang ang chukul.
And to discuss options if you just do not want to come back, but we hope you want to come back in hybrid.
Neighbor kananagan chat kala to kong kumichip kananabar rodok ngani mun chukul gay.
As we move along showing this presentation, you can stop me at any time and ask a question.
Ilarang na yung malako dilo presentation kumi marungunit kapajaranga inam kaman kachita.
You can just open up your microphone, which would probably be the best.
Kumi ang anil kapalak mic kanami unmute kumi inam kaman kachita.
Or you can raise your hand.
Ngayjab kumi marumbar kajuta pemi.
We also have a chat option if you'd like to write in the chat, but that means Isaac would have to read the chat.
Chone bar chicken chat chane kumi maram chejem kaman kachita ka koko baba.
Okay, so we'll begin.
Chane yung malakot.
When does my student start in-person learning?
Ngaya dayo rujugulo niju etchino chugul ilawani mun chugulo.
This slide shows the dates that hybrid starts next week for elementary.
Lo slide ini kualok ngaya dayo ini chino chugul ilo imun chugul ko.
March 2nd, kindergarten and first graders will start.
Majro ran, wiganan majro ran ini chino kelajuan kindergarten im kelajuan.
And what happens is that there will be two cohorts, an AM cohort and a PM cohort.
Ini jelang ro kumin rujuguro, merani kargerangan kargu wire ngan ba pello kumiguan AM im PM.
And your child will either go Tuesday, Thursday.
Ajiro ni me bello emarong bello chonian kumiguan Tuesday im taije.
Or Wednesday and Friday.
Ngejab Wednesday im palaire.
And the 2 days they're not in person, they will be doing some sort of online work.
Lo rango rome rechep chugulo imun chugulo rani chugulo online aglo mejadoto.
Second and third grade starts on March 9th.
Kelaj ro yung kelaj chidu rechinulo wigawan maj radam John ran.
4th grade and 5th grade start on March 16.
Kelaj menim kelaj lalim rechinulo wigawan maj chongol chijino ran.
And then spring break is March 22nd through the 26th.
Nana yen kakije nilo spring and it kumanilo maj rongo ro ngan rongo chijino ran.
Next slide.
Chalai the netuk John.
And Melissa, you can join in anytime and help me with these slides because you probably know more than I do about the elementary hybrid. Okay, what is hybrid learning?
Tain wawen chugulo ya kerere kopan ag hybrid learning.
Which hybrid learning is students switch every other day between in-person and online learning.
Wawen chugulo ya kerere kopan et ko wain chugul ilo wani mun chugul yim chugul ilo kabi chugune nagalo online immediato.
So as we mentioned before, your student will attend Tuesday and Thursday or Wednesday and Friday in person.
Eno dargar pa imalnak ajiriyo niyo memoron pello chunyan kumigo rech ito kum chugul imun chugulo ilo chuje yim taije ak ngeje wego wanje yim palaire.
And on the days they're not in person, they will be at home learning.
Imran ko mi recep chugulilo imun chugulo rani chugulilo kabi chugune nagalo mayo.
Next slide.
Chalai the netuk John.
What is a cohort?
Tain cohort ag kumi.
A cohort is a small group of students learning in a hybrid learning model.
Okay, John kumi e kubain rujuguro mi rech emit ligutier nganer karangan eno John chige julin chugul. Ilo adan wawen chugulin me kerere kopan.
An example of a cohort is that if you have a classroom size of 20 children,
John wan changogin John kumi nge ba John kila jelang rongo rujugul lawan.
a cohort will only be half that size.
Nanay John kumi ene nalalain chimatan nampane.
Classrooms will have smaller numbers of students so we can safely socially distance students to make sure that kids are safe while they're at school.
Jangan uwan kila jago rani jia talak pwede kacungun kajabaro rujuguro yung parenot kamana way rujuguro ran marungun katolagro ni lawan kila jago.
In order for us to go back to hybrid learning, we have to meet certain safety standards.
Pwede marung nagrolangan wawin chugulin ekerera kopan ejay gujin lang benagore ay gujin pagchikin mokta.
And these safety standards focus primarily on COVID-19 protocols.
Minigin me raja gujin pagchikin mokta rech kitchen kajabarok rech ito ko di kitchen kajabarok kitchen nangan mijan COVID-19.
It means that all students that come in person must wear face coverings.
Et melalin ba olive rujuguro me rani judongan iman chugulo raja gujin war air kin kalibubog mejer.
When they come in the building, they'll wash their hands frequently.
Ngay rani jirelang to iman chugulo eni rani call payer meneju kutu air call payer.
And they will be assigned to a group of students of no more than 14.
Inem rani ligadir ilo chon kumin rujuguro me uwire eni Ebang labo ka dyan chongolemen.
They will stay with that cohort through the school year.
Rani peripen kumin ngan olivin in chuguling.
When they go into the classroom, they will be separated by 6 feet at a table.
Inna mga rani jatalangan kilaja ko air, rani jatola ka dyan drone, tarin chijinon ne, ito table ko air.
The classrooms will look different.
Ene charo ko tak chiru kopan kilaja ko air.
Kids won't be able to sit together on the carpet and read together.
Ajiriro rawan chija di penro nilo adan carpet ko imrit idurun drone.
They will have to stay distance apart while they're in the classroom.
Rani jay ko jin katola ko ron nilo ene perlo kilaja.
The nice thing about the cohort is that if someone brings an illness into the school,
Meno emonin chuan cohort a chuan kumi alange chuan ajiri aga chuan arme jeni nangan mitong ani manchugulo.
we will be able to track it, identify it quickly,
Enit pirurar loy
and that particular cohort will be the cohort we have to send it home for a few days.
innam kumin rejugur rain jeni jay ko jin karoler ngan mayo peren mongata pero dilo mayo. Yumin chechoran.
We have been doing this for quite some time under limited in-person instruction.
Chagarupat kamane minin mokotalak angan rejugur rame retogum chugul lo chirugo diyan ilo anu manchugul ka.
We have had great results.
Elugun emman ichalakar nanagar wala ka jan wawin gain.
We have rarely had students bring in illnesses.
Elugun chejan rejugo itok agnangan mitongan manchugula.
It's really important for families to know
Ibininawar we pamalego renchalay.
that the school buildings are safe. It's the people that bring in the sickness, if that happens.
May tignan ba pamalego ren melalay manchugulo lugun emman lugun alap ka pero giye. Yung nangan medyo ito ko chen pinaramit.
That's why we insist on certain safety protocols like face coverings and social distancing and washing hands, etc.
Uninaradan ay gujubayan war chid wawen ka pero ko rej pagchigen enot kolgolpe yung parenot ngan kanakin kalibubo medyo.
Next slide. So how do I find my students cohort through the ParentView app?
We were now low kumiyo and rujuguro niju ilo ParentView app.
You would download this on your phone.
Na kumaron downloadin man nengan talabon yawan.
And you would follow these instructions.
Kung jalor kamelele kain.
You would put in your student information.
Kung jaligot melele ko gichen rujugulo nijum.
And it will navigate you through to find the information about your cohort.
Ina mene pokolok kwe ngan ijo me kwalok cohort tayo akumi tayo rujugulo nijum me periye.
Now, people may be getting confused by this, so please ask your ISAC or your community resource specialist.
Arame ramarun pyok ak cheblukun melelegan meni ngem ramarungun kay bakalak ISAC ro ak community outreach specialist ro.
You'll need to know your cohort for next week.
Kuna jay gujin chalay cohort ak kumitayawan rajugulo nijum ngan wigin lang.
So you can determine if you go to school on Tuesday or Thursday or Wednesday or Friday.
Pagwan chalay alang ajiro nijum ay gujin na talangan chugulilo chujem tayje ak wanjem palayre.
Next slide. On your desktop, your Chromebooks that you have, you can also find your cohort through ParentView.
Lo computer kana ami kumi marumpal lo kumitayawan rajugulo nijumi ilo ParentView.
Okay. And what I want to ask folks, Isaac, is how many people understand ParentView and do they know how to find it?
Okay, ngi marun kachidak ewar chade arme rajalagan ParentView im yayo ramarun loy.
Tell them they can raise their hands or just say, open up their mics and say yes or put it in the chat.
Maram poda bemi nge unmute kumyang baayat.
Hi, man. Man.
Okay. Yes.
Can I Karin? Ejala kajar bale ParentView. Komi melalagan ParentView. Even egun may kanay ngay oren kanan kanan.
Yun kachida kali
Okay.
kailangan karmen may kachar sa inawangan niya ka chamarang yung reset ng itin malalak password ng manakay.
Ay je komerong ko tayo niyan.
Yes. So if we have had that, but then we forgot our password, can we reset the password?
Yes.
Aye.
So what I'm hearing then, Kathleen and Isaac, is that most of the families understand ParentView.
Not all, Sylvia. Not all know how to use ParentView or have access to it, but some of the parents do have experience using ParentView.
Okay, because one of the things that we're going to have to do is help them figure out their cohort if they're doing hybrid.
Yep.
Okay. How many of the families here tonight are sending their kids to hybrid next week?
Ewar chade yan pamaligin lo kuilagin areng chodenin. Ajiriro nijir reto jangan net parolim chugulo imun chugulo.
Yun kachida
Okay. Question.
Nanuwaga kachida ka na kanagay chichangin chalay kilachidem talangan. Takar rodlo call aga ichin dukun idogolo ngangay mo niyan dogolo email aga eliminar chalay aga relugun confirm ngan talangan chigin duko. Imchen kilachidelo ranta.
So I wasn't so sure about which grades go when back to school, and there has not been any confirmation yet on email as to which grade starts when, and if we can find out when which grades goes back when to school.
Okay, let's go back to that then. Isaac, I'm going back to the second slide. Where it shows grade levels and when they start. So kindergarten and first grade starts next week.
Wigin law and it kindergarten im klajuan ranit chino rolangan menchugul.
How many families, Isaac, that are here this evening have kindergarten or first graders?
Ever chade pamalelo kuila ginarang chodinin, ever niji rit pello kindergarten a klajuan.
Chap mijagan kanan yanin amijang.
Do we know how many?
It's Sylvia, just an FYI, we're shy.
Oh, that's okay.
It's the first time, or maybe not the first time, but this is the first time we're having Zoom parent meeting.
Oh,
And can I, Sylvia, can I just tell parents that I'm here to interpret for them? Then, nan all parent ro kumiyang chuju mam kumimarom kajin majalum ngani kacheng ugo tayo ni kimi. So kumiyang jab mijaga na dan leto kachita ka koko baba chaberjin nganara dan chibang kumi.
okay. So Isaac, let them know if they have a child in kindergarten or first grade, they start next week.
Nan pamale ko may lang ni year ilo kindergarten im klajuan ranit chino ilo wigin lang.
If they have a student in the second grade and third grade, they start March the 9th.
Ngayon ni Jimmy rujugul ilo klajuro yung klajilu ranit chino ilo maj radam jon ran. Wigin an maj radam jon.
If they have a student in the fourth grade and fifth grades, they start March 16.
Ngayon ni Jimmy rujugul ilo klajemen yung klajalalim kumini chino ilo wigin an maj chungul chino ran.
Tell the families it's very important you find out what cohort your child will be in.
Emini naurog bo kuminchala cohort au kumitayo ajirio ni Jimmy perie.
Because they would be going to school in the morning or in the afternoon.
Kanake ranit talim chugul marungin chupong ngejap yin railet.
Can I cut in,
Yes.
Sylvia? I
Yes.
think that's one of the questions that the parent was asking, like, how do we find out what cohort our students are part of?
Right. That is the parent view. The slide on the, Isaac, do you have that slide? We talked a little bit about parent view. That's why I was asking, did they know parent view? If not, we're going to have to assist our families in figuring out how to access parent view so they can find out their cohort.
And Sylvia and Kathleen and Isaac, if we want, because our group is small enough, I don't want to do it while we're recording, but we can help tonight. I mean, I have,
great.
We can look it up on Synergy, and the other option is you can always talk to the school and they'll tell you
Great.
your times and your days.
I think
but
this
I
is
can stay
perfect.
on and help tonight too. So I have it up in front of me if we need to look anybody up tonight.
Oh, great, because I don't, this parent view thing, it's not working. So Isaac, could you share with the families that we can help them tonight figure out their cohort?
Nge nanole pamalego palin chamalong lo kuilagi chamarun chibang kom adan lale parent view account kanami pokumyangan lo cohort au kumitayo rujugulo ni Jimmy perie.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Thank-
Sylvia, I
ahead.
just want to say too that I have access to Synergy, so also I'm willing to stay afterwards, and maybe Jordan can separate us in rooms, and then we can go ahead and help out with that as well. So I'm willing to help out with that.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the most important question of the night is our cohorts. So I think we should focus on that. And then I think once we figure that out, I think that's what parents mostly want. I don't want to just keep going on something if that's not what we should be doing. So Isaac, could you just share with the families that if they are not sure if they want their student to come back to hybrid, they will have to ask for a remote option.
Ngay pamalego kumitip kana na bay projuguro ni jimiran bar netongan hybrid learning ag minimi jiba wa win chugulo e career ko pan mi rujugura ni jibar rolangan ni mun chugulo go ngerra dalla na kumitip kana na pajiri ran ni jibar roldo indam kumini jego padok indam cheni chibang kumibo kumin kanengan me Raja remote learning again ini cuma malah kau tu ni cukup lo kabi juga ni agak long mayo.
Perfect. So here's what we're going to do. How many families do we have? Let me look. Jacqueline, how many families? We have about 25 people.
Yes, 25.
Okay, Isaac, what we're going to do is we're going to split into groups of 2.
Hey, Sylvia, I'm wondering, there's a couple slides around health and safety.
Okay,
I'm wondering if we should just make sure that that's covered too, because that might help answer any questions about hybrid versus another option.
oh, okay. Let me go
Jordan,
back.
can you move down to the past the yeah, one more.
Keep going.
Perfect.
Okay. This slide is how will my students stay safe?
Lo selain kia ceberiye, ejba ewi wawen an ajirio ni ne perilo kajbarok ilo wawen cukuli ne kerera kopan.
When students come in person,
Ni rujuguro rajutongani lawani mencukulo.
they wash their hands when entering the school.
Tani call pair ilo realong ilo mencukulo.
They must wear a face covering.
Tani jai kuj kanak kain kalibu mejer.
If there is a problem with wearing a face covering, they need to contact the school first.
Ngay war ami abonono ikichen nandan kain kanak kain kalibu mej me kujine kebag mencukulo.
And talk about your options.
Yung kumini kana nagan pertako chet kumi marang kamani.
Everybody will have to maintain a physical distance.
Olive rane jai kuj katolak drone.
And when they come into the school, they'll see these red dots on the floor.
Inam nga rani telang to kilo iman chukulo rani lo chet dolul puroro yon lal.
And they're actually footprints.
Lukun mall menagain chicken kakalain yago raja kujin lukun perya chuda kiye.
And it will show them how they distance from each other to stay safe.
Ene kualok chongan ay ray kujin ne katolak ron nganair kajabaro ron.
So the safety in the school is very important to us.
Kajabarok ilo man chukulo ilungun laban aur ngan kim.
We've been implementing these safety procedures for several months.
Jagar chino char wawen kajabarok kain inangan chilu alang kia.
And we have had lots of practice.
Imelungun gar labar kabine ne kagi.
Do they have questions about safety procedures, Isaac?
Elang kami kajita kan wawen kajabarok kain.
Eman chalat.
Oh good, no questions.
Ayor kacida ka jani jay.
One question.
Okay.
Bila wawanan karana ba ragar trainingan kaje barok manta kaje lo chilo aleng. Ewi wa elemental kar kamane kaje chala kaje rilo training.
Okay, the past 3 months that you mentioned, how did you do it? Were there children in school or not?
Yes. We have had children in school through a program called Limited In-Person Instruction.
Inga egar lang rujugur rugujor tugum chugur gain rujugur rain me red pello kilaje gay me egaru awa kanair.
And these are the students that need extra help with their schoolwork. So they actually come into the building in small groups.
Im rujugur rain ragar tongan manchugul gay rome rulugun ay guchibang. Im rujudok ilo kumigo me eyadu wire.
And we've been doing this now since last September.
Im jagar kamane meni chen cepetan payol.
We also have preschools that have been operating for a few months.
Ever war preschool rome ragar pagchigan human alang go chicho alang go mantak.
And at the middle school and high school level, we've had sports.
Ikichen middle yung high school ako menego rego ar pagchigan at yukurego.
All of those activities, we have to have safety protocols in place.
All of yukuregen me rar pagchigan ay lang wawen kajaparo ko me red pagchigan.
We have to follow the safety guidelines of Oregon Health Authority.
Si jay wajin lore nanin telugo kichen kajaparo chen ipen Oregon Authority. Agan raiwan chicken ejmur.
So they have reviewed our safety standards.
Imije redale chongo kainar gikichen wawinar kuman kajaparo.
And they support us moving forward in hybrid.
Im raja tagay R1 malago dumine kumane hybrid in aga wawin chugulin me kairera kupan.
We met with Governor Kate Brown today.
Jagar kuila kipen Governor Brown raining.
She is very excited for Salem-Keizer.
Karain alaban kun manana ipen chugul gainan kian.
She says that we are a great model for the state.
E bagay chechuan wanjang ko yamman ngan oliven state in an Oregon.
Because we are doing it right.
Kanagay lugun chumer amanar kumani.
Any other questions, Isaac, around that?
Elangay war kachita kichen manay.
Emman wawanar ni elang kay wawan ko ni chaga yer waran ne ka lang nangin ni militer elmenay ni chaga kay oray nangin ni.
Will you do screenings to confirm if any student have any symptoms or anything?
Melissa, do you want to answer?
So what the Oregon Health Authority has asked us to do with students is to do visual screenings.
Meneo Oregon Health Authority agar kachita buitin kamani a visual screening melalain right adale ajirio iloyar kalimijagay.
Which means when students come to school, we check to see are there any symptoms for illness.
Ni rajuguro rajudanga ni munchugulo che laler alang elang chabarot kakalay nangin mi jiper.
If a student exhibits any illness or symptoms of sickness at school,
Ni rajugolo e kwalok chabarot kakalay nangin mi jiloy munchugulo.
we will follow our typical protocols of contacting home and asking about somebody to come pick up the child.
Chinilore cha wawen charbalago arme kayar company mukatata che kolelak mayo yim kachita go en work worchuan to ko megata ke rujugulo.
We will have access to on-site rapid COVID testing, which is an option with parent consent if a student is sick at school.
Ewarar ni marong kajarwal waywin etale ko mi ri kumante ko mi emakajenit walok rijalo koan elang ni mama pavaro ramarong kamelimi ad ni kajarwale.
And so if your child was sick at school, we would contact you, ask about consent if you wanted a COVID test to see if your child had COVID, and we would have consent and wait for you to come pick up your child.
Ngay ajiro ni jumar nangan mi jilo munchugulo inna mga koni ledo melim munchugulo ini kachida melim pemum mga koni ledo innem chamaro ni juman malam kamane tejo ngat yum mukata janam ni jodogum ekata gajiro.
Does that answer your question about screening?
Iwake kachidogam kitchen wawin screen ki na etalenge ilang chabarot kakalay nangan mi.
Emman ngaji baik pa ba kan kai ngai ba jala de ni juga ka jor maji e kun kijang ba jala kan maji I baik pa ni we ngai ni ka mane lo chukul ka jala kai ende
Okay.
ta ka ni.
Okay. The reason I ask is because my son sneezes a lot, and I was just wondering if that could be something.
No, that's a great question. Our nurses, our school nurses are training really hard our school staff to make sure that we're aware of any other health conditions that might resemble COVID so that we're not sending kids home because they have a cold.
No, yung reservoir rain, rugagi rain, yung jar pag jet kabine ni ko ngana lapalakair chalay etale kain nangan mi ko kakale tago rit ramarongun andan kwalak chigi nangan mi ko ino tuwan chango chaban kanan chidingal karol chon rujugul ngay machi chaban pa e rol kain kanagay nangan mi jin corona pata dukun mo le marongun pag meji ni me kan molo ime ko man mininad ni machiot.
Emman
Okay.
Any other questions?
Ilangay par chabrot kachidak.
John kachita kaijak chalapur.
Okay, one question.
Kitchener ne chiringan wat bejugurin ne chiringan chugo jich I would provide mass care and any jilang element low chikajagin.
So when we're sending schools students back to school, are we providing masks or is the school providing masks?
So if you can send a mask, that's great. If you can't, we will have some at school for your kids to wear.
Ngay talaga me jangan ajirin ni jum inam ene jawar me jilong menchukul ko chamaron ni jalelang ani. Okay, thank you very much.
John Kachitagijo.
Okay, another question.
Kichi kuni chukuna me ko kono kaga karge ni jiwe kilachilo. Kiyo jume ka karge ni jiwe jatalin chupong ijela kuna antalin ralep chono chezen.
Regarding cohort, my
Chilu.
my son is in 3rd grade, so will it be going just the AM or PM just for one session only or what?
What school, can I ask?
Swickle Elementary School. Swickle.
Okay,
So-
Swiggle.
So I have the schools in front of me. So Swiegel's times are 8 to 1. So school starts at 8 a.m., goes till 1 p.m. We'd have to look up your son in in our system to figure out if he's Tuesday, Thursday, or Wednesday, Friday. But he's 8 to 1, and I think when we're done with the questions, we're going to stay on, so you can just give me his name and I can look him up and make sure you know which days, if it's Tuesday, Thursday, or Wednesday, Friday.
Okay.
We are recording, so I don't want you to have to give your kids names now.
Chukulan lari kena chui ka right lo awan chukul kana air jan rally tangan chuan yem chene jay ko jin par lale adan akaun yan ko jin lale kumi tayo eberi.
Man. Mall.
Okay, thank you.
Chuan kachidak
Another question.
and then ngan munchugule and dergene ju ekila chuan fair right.
Okay, and regarding fair right for my daughter who's in 1st grade.
Yep, right. The times for right are 10:30 to 3:30.
Ngana awan right tungo chimatan ngan chudu chimatan.
And again, we have to look up your daughter for whether she's Tuesday, Thursday, or Wednesday, Friday. I don't know that right now, but I can get it tonight.
Chene jilale elgunot koi lagin chamalagun koi lagin chene jilale nge lirigon ni jumit pello kumian chujem taije nge jab bayre.
Im and then porchuan im ever kova kilaj emenaga kilaj lalim kilaj lalim.
Okay, another question regarding 5th grade.
Ego edan echa awane oda ketai baru yuguta.
Is it the same time or would it be different?
So the times are based on the school. So it depends on which school, but if it's, for example, Wright, all kids at Wright would go to school at the same time. It just
Okay.
depends, half on Tuesday, Thursdays, and half on Wednesday, Fridays. And I'm gonna put, oh, sorry, Isaac, I'll let you interpret first.
Ene pero yon chugu tayo majururo raja talangane ange waj kitchen right rene chugu lawa kane chungu chimatan ngan chudu chimatan yung rene chugu lo olive rene chumur chugu lawa kane.
And I'm gonna put in our chat so that Kathleen and Isaac have it also, and all of you, the times for the schools.
Ane ilikadilo chicken chatane awa wan chugu lagay.
Are there other questions, Isaac?
Elangay par chabarot kachidak chen chabarot.
Yung nga chulo
Okay, we got about 2 more.
ngan iba rugagira remarong ka chalay awa ka na yer.
Awagan an tujuguran.
Ayer rugagira ayer mage remarong ka chalay awa ka na yer.
Can the teachers be able to know what time are for the school, for their class and their students?
Yep, your teachers should know what time school will start and end, and they'll know what time or which days your kids come. So you can always just ask your school also, and they'll tell you.
Kan kayo di ba ni pero lang at parent na ngay. Ibinay real lang ay ParentView ka na ayer. Marami pero lang nga na ayer kachitukipan. Pwede rugagira na ayer.
Yeah, I think that's really helpful because for those parents that are having difficulty accessing or getting onto ParentView, they can just ask their teachers to get these information.
ParentView is not the easiest.
ParentView ito kano din piroro.
And
Chuan
we can,
kachidak
go ahead.
Another question here.
kitcheno dan ParentView ne chalak din chalak kamane ge de ejaba activation key ne ge ito ko chenchugula jumege.
And regarding ParentView, when we try to get in, it asks for activation key, and that comes from the school only, right?
Correct.
Did you might?
Iya eliminar dan page key eliminar page key ne me chugula ileto.
How will we be able to get that key from the school?
If you, make sure I'm not muted, if you just call the school and say you need your code for ParentView, they can give it to you.
Ko kolelak mencugulen engka cita kecen account namanya ParentView romaram ni jelas.
Come on.
We've got a question on the chat. It's saying cannot log in because I'm not on district server.
I don't know why it would say that. That's beyond my knowledge.
She has they have a district computer, Chromebook.
Kumia kejarwal army je mer cheji kumia kejarwal Chromebook and history ke. Yes, the students Chromebook.
I know there have been some issues with Chromebooks that they're working out right now.
Nanai jalai ke karwar chicho problem kitchen Chromebook mere charwale kiya.
And it had to do with the outages last week.
Imre jito ko chenanagar adan punchar magolo wigola. Okay, says okay.
Okay, so just so she knows, she may have to get another Chromebook.
Okay. Ko baru na pala na igujin parpuk chun Chromebook.
Any more questions?
Ilang bar chabrat kachidak.
So